Mama C, it looks like your 35,000 votes for Keanu paid off.
Yeah. Are you jealous?
No, I told you I wasn't going to spend all that time watching the video. Dee and I gave our 5 votes to Will each.
It
And he
wasn't
made
that
it to
big.
the top 3.
He did. Good for him.
How's your heyday game going?
I'm not playing it right now.
Oh, just last episode. You're too
Yes.
excited about this finale. So am I. Welcome to Remote Reality. This is Lauren.
And this is Mama C.
And this is the Big Brother 27, episode 39. Now night. Let's watch.
Remote reality, yeah, that's the key. Unlocking stories wild and free. With the host, side by side. Channel surfers.
So on Friday, Mama C and I brought you some spoilers and our jury breakdown. I didn't realize there was a full episode on Friday and that we were doing this live right before the full episode came out. It was kind of a let's deep dive into this because earlier in the day, Dee and I deep dove into what we thought would happen with the jury vote. So we'll pull that up in just a minute. We also let you know that Morgan won round 1, Ashley won round 2, and that she had quite a lead on Vinny, which turned out to be wrong. We'll talk about that in a second. And then how the final HOH would play out. Mama C, anything you want to add to Morgan winning that round 1?
It looked really hard. And I am not good at spinning rides. And so I probably would not have been good at that competition.
Usually what I would do is kind of pick a spot and look at it. But they were going like face down. I don't know how you would pick a spot to just focus on it and keep turning your head if they're bobbing you up and down as well. It did look hard. Ashley, she was out in about 22 minutes. Vinny was out after about 59 minutes. So Morgan won with an hour. Vinny immediately starts whining about how he's failed. Like as soon as the first part of the HOH is over, I've got my weenie whistle. We'll see how much we have to use it tonight. Vinny, weenie move. Crying after the first round, like get yourself together. Do well in the second round. Second round of the HOH comes. They are flying through the air, kicking over blocks, putting a puzzle together. Vinny finishes pretty quickly. Ashley looks like she's about to give up. Morgan from the sidelines says, Ashley, don't give up. So what they have to do is put these blocks together, and then they have to put the order that the house guests were evicted on this little block pad. Both of them at first read this to mean the day of the eviction. Vinny is frustrated. He goes, I know these days. How is this wrong? That mistake gives Ashley time to catch up. And she powers through. She catches up. She comes off of the zip line out of breath. She's tired. She's been fighting to get those blocks down. She starts putting days up too. After a couple of tries, she realizes, let me reread this clue. She looks at it and she says, it's order, not days. And she decides to trick Vinny. She doesn't want him to realize because he's sitting there making a fuss, complaining. She doesn't want him to realize that she's solved the problem with the days. So she's putting 2 numbers up for the order, 02, 01. So he sees her putting 2 tiles up and he's not going to be quickly on to the order. I thought that was pretty smart.
It was. And you know what? He never caught on until Ashley showed him at the end of the competition.
After the competition.
Yeah.
As soon as he loses this competition, he melts down. He goes behind the blocks. Ashley couldn't even enjoy the moment because of what a meltdown Vinny was having. I mean, her social game is on point. She's not a jerk. He just seems like such a whiny, complaining guy. How did they all like him in this house? Let's talk about the unmasking of the mastermind, aka the Gerudo thief. That's misleading because apparently it was 3 Gerudo thieves. When we were looking at the mastermind in tonight's episode, my immediate thought before they revealed who they say it is at the end of this competition was that it was Jessie from season 11. Just because of the body shape, it looked like Jessie to me tonight.
Yeah, but they said it was Will, Dr. Will, which was misleading. It was not Dr. Will. That was after the second.
Right. I said before they unveiled who they thought it might be. That was my initial thought tonight. Did you have any thoughts before they started playing games with our heads and our heart?
Well, from the very beginning, I even went back and looked at all the episodes, episode 1, all the episodes that had the mastermind in it. I thought from the very beginning it was a small frame person or a woman because the shoulders were not big at all. So I'm like, well, let me go back and look to see if any of them had these wide shoulders like Jessie. None of them.
Tonight's episode, I thought it did look like Jessie because I didn't pay attention to it. I didn't even realize they were unmasking until tonight. They didn't tease that storyline very well. And you have a theory on that.
Well, I just think that it was the same person all season with different masks because, yes, I went back and I noticed episode 1, it had the first mask that they showed. It has like these little white lines. And I think the lock, there was some way the lock was either up or down. I can't remember the first one. The second one was the white locust, and that had that lock the opposite way of whatever the first one was. And then the third one was at the inner sanctum when they were doing the nominations with the voodoo dolls. And then that had on the opposite side the dark lines and then the lock going probably up or whatever.
So there were 3 different masks.
There were 3 different masks, but the shoulders on all of them were very, very small. And I think that they were the same person the whole season, but they just threw these people in as a storyline.
Why did they do 3 different masks? It sounds like it was planned out.
Well, yeah, but I think they were really the ones in the costume. I think it was somebody else in the costume. They were just part of the storyline. But you know, at the beginning of the second HOH competition, this final one, Frankie did say something about, oh, I feel like I've been in the house all summer.
So there were little Easter eggs apparently throughout this competition. I just started paying attention tonight. I thought it was Jessie. So when they unmasked Dr. Will, I was thinking, that doesn't seem right. Dr. Will's not built like that. Which is who they say it was. But they drag him out of the house and he's saying it wasn't me. It wasn't me. I would have been so excited if they had Will going through that house and I was one of the final 3 players, and kind of mad that they drug him out so quick so I couldn't even say hi. Frankie Grande, he hosted the last HOH competition. The way he came out, though, his style and everything, I was like, he looks like he could be a mastermind. He had on dark eye makeup. His hair was kind of like crazy scientist. He looked very mastermind. So it was very confusing because I was also thinking he's not built like the person from tonight's episode. Then we find out that Will was wrongfully accused. And we go back to a mastermind taking off of masks. And it's Jessie. And I texted Mama C. I was like, it was Jessie. And she says, I didn't think it was a person built like that. And then the next person we get is Frankie. And I was thinking, oh, well, I thought that as soon as I saw him tonight, he would be a great mastermind. And then the last person they reveal, it's Eric. Eric shows up and I texted Mom, it's Eric. Where's Jessica? I wonder whatever happened to them.
You know what? I didn't even recognize Eric until they showed his season.
I knew him right off the bat.
I'm
But
like,
he used to be very small framed. He looked like he had put on some muscle. But yeah, he was America's favorite player. And he had a showmance. Do you remember Jessica?
The only Jessica I remember right now in my mind is one who was with Cody and they got married and they were on The Amazing Race and won and have 3 kids.
Let me look and see. I just showed Mama C a picture of Jessica from Big Brother 8 and she goes, yeah, I don't know if I remember. But it does not look like they are together. They were together after the Big Brother house, but there's a picture of her on Facebook with a completely different husband and 2 adorable boys. So, que sera, sera. I thought it was really interesting that they brought up the coup d'etat. We talked about that earlier this season when Zach got that power, about Jessie's coup d'etat or Jessie's eviction by Jeff after Jeff got the coup d'etat. So the second round of the competition ends up with Morgan and Vinny in the HOH room, and Vince is complete weenie mode, breaking down. He completely failed this season, asking Morgan if she's going to take him to the finals. She's not persuaded by this emotional groveling. Ashley is dancing and talking to the camera, which kind of reminds me of something that Dr. Will would do, go and directly talk to us. But she's like, yeah, Ashley, go Ashley. And then you see her in diary room and she says, it's time. I got to win this final Big Brother and get rid of Morgan, which in my mind, I'm thinking that could be a big power move if she's the one to get rid of the most powerful player in this game. So let's talk jury. Just kidding. Let's not talk about the jury yet. Let's talk about round 3. Just kidding. Let's not talk about the jury yet. Let's talk about round 3 of the HOH competition. Go ahead, Mama C.
Well, Ashley pulled out her lawyer skills. You even said that she was doing a process of elimination. I even did better than Morgan. I think I missed one that Ashley got, but I got all the rest of them right. And some of them were just guesses.
So basically, the house guests give 3 statements. You pick which one is false. I knew that Ashley would do well on that because when you're a lawyer, if you're like, well, this one is true and this one is true, then you can eliminate the false one. I mean, I hope that's what everybody would do, but that's kind of part of our mind process training. That's part of that Socratic method, I guess. Ashley dominated. She dominated that final round. I thought she would win. I didn't think she was going to win by a landslide, that final round of the HOH.
Yeah, Morgan choked. And, I laugh because I put down in my notes, I used to play this with my students when we were getting to know each other at the, first day of class. It was called 2 Truths and a Lie. And you had to tell 2 truths about yourself and then a lie, and everybody had to guess what the lie is. So I was kind of familiar with that. But what I loved was they were handcuffed. Each of the jury members were handcuffed to a podium, and they said something about the mastermind, and then they told their 2 truths and a lie. And
I didn't even realize they were handcuffed to the podium, but they did have the jurors. It looked like they were in an interrogation room with a light shining on them. Why would they handcuff a witness? That doesn't make sense.
No.
It seems a little, I hope they got Miranda rights before they got handcuffed. Anyway, Morgan got what? 1 right?
Yeah. And then she was like, there were times when, like one time she wanted to change her answer. And that was after standing there for several seconds while Ashley was trying to make up her mind.
Right.
And then when
and
Ashley
then she changed
finally,
it at the last minute, and then she looks down like, oh. And Julie's going, answer's locked. It wouldn't have made a difference. Ashley still would have beat her if she had that one. I wonder if it just changed the momentum. Kind of like in a football game, if somebody's doing really well and then the other player or the other team starts getting a little bit on them and it changes that momentum and you see that momentum shift. That's almost what I felt like when I was watching this.
the pressure was on Morgan.
I've never been so happy to be wrong. Ashley said she was getting rid of Morgan after we see Ashley win this by a landslide. I texted Mama C and said, I've never been so happy. Never been so happy to be wrong, because I really felt like Ashley would win this if she was in the final 2. Now, if Morgan had won the final HOH and taken Ashley, I could see Morgan winning it.
Definitely. I think Morgan would have won it. I kind of felt bad for her, but
well, I didn't.
This is a game.
I could see it, but we broke down our jury votes, and I said if you take Ashley, Ashley wins.
Right. Oh,
we did that on Friday because I started thinking about who is in that jury. I started thinking about the jury management. And let me just go over here to the spreadsheet that we shared on Friday. So In a Morgan Vince situation, we guessed that Vince would get a vote from Lauren and Morgan would win 6-1. In a Morgan Ashley situation, we guessed that Keanu and Vince would vote for Morgan. So we guessed it would be a 5-2 vote. Rachel and Will, we said would go for Ashley because they're very loyal and Ashley has been with them since the beginning. Lauren did not like Morgan. So we thought that Lauren would not team up with Morgan. Kelly was evicted on Morgan's HOH, and Ashley was evicted on Morgan's HOH. Or Ava. And Ava was also close to Ashley. So looking at the jury, I thought it would be a 5-2 vote. Doesn't really matter because we know that Ashley was going to pick Vince. So our guess for the Ashley-Vince situation was a 6-1 vote with Lauren sticking with Vinny and Morgan flipping with Ashley. I think we thought that maybe Morgan might flip to Vince, but even in other scenarios where we thought there was a flip, we still thought Ashley would win 6-1. When we saw the jury talking about these scenarios with Cody California, I started questioning whether or not our breakdown would be correct from Friday.
Oh, I
Friday's
agree.
episode.
I agree, especially when Rachel said, let's not be a bitter jury. I'm like, oh my gosh, they may give this win to Vince and nobody would give anything for Ashley.
I was worried. Anything else you want to add to the conversation with the jurors and Cody? Cody, he said, I've won Big Brother once. I came in second in another season, so I've been in front of a jury twice.
To me, I liked Cody. Dr. Will, I never liked Dr. Will in this scenario. I always thought he kind of felt like it was about him. Cody, I think he did a good job of just staying in the background and leading the conversation.
Wouldn't Rachel do great at this?
I think she'd be like Dr. Will, want to be all about her. I love her, though.
I'm okay with that. I love Dr. Will. I never had a problem with seeing his handsome little face on finale night. And I'm glad we got to see him getting drug out in handcuffs. They bring back the pre-jury house guests. Riley and Kat are together.
Or are they?
Well, what do you mean, are they? That's what
actions.
they had done said.
Actions speak louder than words.
Yeah,
they had their hands in their lap the entire time. I just remember when Jessica and Cody saw each other at their Big Brother finale, and Jessica flew up into Cody's arms and wrapped her legs around him, and it was, and they couldn't keep their hands off of each other at the end. I mean, here they had their hands in their lap. They didn't even lean into each other. They hardly looked at each other.
You're talking about after they announced it.
I'm talking about the pre-jury coming in and sitting there. I mean,
I think they weren't trying to give it away because online everybody was saying that they were not together. And Riley got a lot of hate that Jessica and Cody did not get. They didn't even do a final interview with him. I feel like he might have been a little bit shy, like he was editing himself because of the online vitriol. I think he was probably afraid to do anything.
Well, I
he
would
pissed
think
a lot
that
of people
you would
off.
Well, who cares? If you're really into that girl and she's into you, who cares what these people think? Hold hands.
That's easy for you to say, but look at Liz. She goes on one reality show. People are horrible to her, and she's afraid to even podcast with us.
Oh, well, you know what? Maybe there's a couple of people out there that are just horrible to me. I just don't listen.
Well, a couple of people being horrible to you is different than like the whole U.S. And the people that are horrible to you, I'm sure you're going to say are me, Josh, and Dad.
Amen.
Terrible kids. Terrible people. How do you surround yourself with such a horrible family? Morgan and Jimmy have talked. I've actually seen them live on YouTube. So they have fixed that bridge. Amy, our loud sister-in-the-law, Amy, no, not sister-in-the-law, but loud Amy that everybody finds annoying. Girl, we feel you. We still feel you. That's our sister.
We do. Yep.
That's us. I love Amy. I still love Amy. I wish we would have seen more of them. We have the Calvin Klein model, the one that you said looked like an underwear model.
Oh, Zay.
Zay is back.
Well, you know what? I read somebody said this. I want to see the Zach and Lauren. Like, do they date or do they go out
Lauren
after
has
this?
zero interest in Zach. I don't think there's anything on that Lauren side. Morgan might still be into him, but
That's true.
I don't think Lauren wants any of that. Now, everybody was very impressed by Morgan's gameplay that was watching from home.
Yeah, I was.
So we go to the final elimination, and Ashley takes Vince with her, and it's so hard. It breaks her heart having to get rid of Morgan, but she knows, I might have a chance against Vince. I don't know that I would have a chance against you. We did think that the Morgan-Ashley scenario would be a closer call. We predicted that in the jury. The jury is surprised. They are shocked when Morgan comes out. Ava's face, Julie has to tell her to pick her jaw up off the ground. Rachel and Will say to each other, "Our girl's still in the house," which in my mind, I was thinking they still got Ashley's back. And we get to the questions for the jury. Almost all of them are centered around Vinny lying to them, and he is not answering these questions well. I feel like his answers are pretty much like dodging accountability and gently saying, my social game won, which is like, okay, me screwing you over, me being your best friend and stabbing you in the back is why I'm here. That's what I kept hearing from his answers.
I know a lot of people online have been saying Ashley was a floater, but Ashley played a social game. She had good jury management. She didn't have a bunch of people leave the house. And maybe it's because, Vince was winning HOHs and sending these people home. But was he really? Was it Morgan who was sending him home? And at the beginning.
Well, also, Ashley says, I am flexible. That is one of the strengths I had in this game, was being able to adapt. And I'm sitting there like, Ashley, adapt to the fact that you just took the HOH that you needed to take.
Right.
You could tell she's an attorney and has talked to a jury before, but I kept thinking, why is she not saying, I won when I needed to win? If I had won 4 HOHs, I would have to put people up. I would have to have a target on my back. Instead, I partnered with the correct house guest. I got in an alliance. I was loyal to my alliance. I sat here and had conversations with every person in this house, which helped me get to know them for this final round, where I dominated Morgan in this final round. I was up against Vinny in that last 2 HOH. I won the last 2 competitions of the season. I won when I needed to win. She was sticking to her social game, which was something she planned beforehand because she thought that's all she was going to go into. I wanted to see her adapt, though, and really bring home and drive home the fact that she won the last 2 HOHs. And Rachel drives that home for her. When they go to put in their vote, Rachel puts in the key and says the person who won when they needed to win.
Yeah, and then Will, this is what was funny, was like, I voted for my girl.
I was like, maybe Vinny's his daughter. Maybe he considers Vinny one of his daughters. We don't know his life. Julie's like, no, don't give it away. Don't give it away. Even Kelly, when she put her vote in, I was like, well, she's like, I'm voting for the person with the social game. I was like, I don't think she's talking about Vinny's social game. As much as he screams social game, I don't think anybody's buying Vinny's crap.
I told you, I felt like I said, well, maybe Vince wins because the top row definitely voted for Ashley. I'm not quite sure about the bottom row. I think they voted for Vince.
And I texted you back and I said, no, it's Ashley. Keanu said he would never vote for Vinny. We thought Lauren would. I thought Morgan might. And this is before we get the votes. And I still thought Ava would pick Ashley because she was close to Ashley. You know, how many people had a final 2 or an alliance with Ashley? Like she said, I was protected with all of them, but she wasn't stabbing them in the back.
But
she was sly.
She was sly, and that's what I was going to get at. she did talk. Like, she talked to Morgan when there were 3 of them in the house, saying how, Vinny would not be a good person to take. But she even
did.
said she was doing it on the sly. She wasn't being, real vocal, just putting seeds in. And that's what Ashley
And
did.
it
She put
worked
seeds in
because
everywhere.
Morgan said, I would have taken Ashley.
Mhm.
She was convincing. I loved her closing argument where she goes, which you have mentioned before. You guys may be familiar with this movie called Legally Blonde. Well, we have more in common, Alex and I, than just being a little bit airheaded. Same girl, same sister-in-the-law, Legally Blonde. That's me. But she says, I'm an attorney. I worked for a prestigious international law firm that I quit to come on here. And I graduated from a top 14 law school. They usually publish the top 100. I didn't even realize they narrowed it down that much, but she graduated from a top 14 law school, which is an excellent law school. When I went to law school, one of my classmates was a Georgetown grad with his Juris Doctor, but he was getting a PhD and he was able to take law school classes again in order to count toward his PhD. So, but he had gone to Georgetown. Actually, he was in Georgetown law during 9/11. So with the Pentagon and everything, he had just such an interesting story about that day and how close he was to all of it. But that's a prestigious law school. Woods was at Harvard. Morgan, she did. They were shocked. The jury, except for Will and probably Rachel, they were like, she's a what? And they talked about that in the house. My law school was one of the top 100. So yeah, it was. The final vote was exactly what we said as far as numerically. It was 6-1, Ashley. That is exactly what we said on Friday.
Did we have
However,
spoilers?
how are our spoilers? I think we have some sort of ESP psychic because you and I were pulling for Keanu and Morgan before the show even started, just reading their profiles. They made it to the top 5.
Yep.
I also said I was feeling on Ashley and Lauren. Lauren, just because she shared my name. And that was like, maybe not. Ashley, because of the lawyer. The only time I've ever preseason guessed without watching the show right was Xavier from Barbecue, the Cookout. But I felt like a gamer might have an advantage over Ashley because Big Brother's a game.
Well,
Never
and
been
you
so
know
happy
what?
to be wrong.
She was. It was just that final HOH competition she choked on.
She quit her job. I'm hoping that this helps her pay off some student loans because law school student loans are no
Ashley.
joke. Ashley. Yeah.
Mhm.
6-1 though. We were wrong though. Morgan voted for Vinny. Lauren did not. I did not see any scenario thinking about this where Lauren would flip, but she flipped. I think she's very, like I said, pageant, very Southern belle. She says very nice, beautiful things. I think she is upset with her best friend, Vinny. He said that Lauren was his best friend tonight.
I know. I heard that. I wanted to see Morgan's face when he said that.
Keanu was so happy to get America's favorite player.
Yeah, and I think Rachel was a little shocked, but that's okay. She was in the top 3 along with Will.
With Will. He seemed very humble about getting it. Part of the reason we all love Keanu. That was a great season. I enjoyed it. I know you said you've been watching the season that Xavier is on.
Yes. Oh my gosh. And I'm loving it.
I loved it.
And I'm loving the cookout. I'm just loving those people. In fact, and I'm only on like episode 9 or whatever. And already that episode is much more entertaining than I thought this one was.
Well, like you said, you had gotten rid of cable and you were teaching and you weren't able to DVR it. So you ended up not watching that season. And I just remember saying, I love the cookout. I love Tiffany. And you said the same thing. You're like, Tiffany is wonderful. And I was like, she's America's favorite player. That was such a good season. But I enjoyed this one. Even though we talk about what a whiner and weenie Vinny is. We don't even need this because he lost. I didn't dislike anybody in this season.
That's true.
I liked them all. for different reasons.
And really, I hope they all do well. I mean, I'm kind of concerned for Vinny, but I'm hoping and praying that he will get his life together and find meaning in his life.
He definitely has some stuff to process. And I have not checked any spoilers or anything this morning because, like I said, I missed that alarm. My
Yeah, you
alarm
were
was
sleeping.
Mama C video calling me. So I wake up, I'm like, hey. I worry about his relationship.
You know what? He could be on a lot of tours for Big Brother, doing podcasts with people from Survivor. I see it all the time. The Amazing Race, Survivor. They always seem to somehow continue on CBS's
Well,
dime or whatever. I don't know.
This is what I was thinking with Morgan. She's a YouTuber. She just branded herself out there. People know she's a great gamer and she's a YouTube gamer. That's going to attract a lot of people to her channel, which, I mean, not when you're small potatoes like us. We don't make anything podcasting. This is just fun. And we are, paying money each month for subscriptions. Like it's a negative number, but we just enjoy doing it and talking to you channel surfers. But with Morgan, I mean, she could be making more than that $750,000. I think the exposure is really what benefits Morgan here. We just love talking about our favorite shows. All right. Anything that you want to add to this Big Brother 27 season, Mama C?
No, I'm just going to go back and start watching The Amazing Race that has all former Big Brother contestants on it.
And I've got to go watch some Sister Wives that I fell asleep to because tonight, Dee and I will be posting another episode this afternoon with the Sister Wives season 1 opener. All right, channel surfers. Well, thank you for listening to Big Brother 27. Mama C, thank you for doing this. We have been watching since season 2. I really can see how so many seasons of watching this kind of led in our predictions, even from the very beginning of who we thought would be good up till the end where we were breaking down the jury votes and thought Ashley would win 6-1 if she was with Vince. I think Ashley still would have won with Morgan, but we never have to know that answer. I was definitely worried about it with the jury votes. I was worried about it either way with the way that the jury was talking. But 6-1, our winner is Ashley, Big Brother 27. All right. Well, check your podcast feed. You're going to have a Sister Wives episode a little bit later today. And tomorrow, Dee and I will be back with The Other Way. At some point, we're going to drop a Are You episode. People really seem to like that. Dee and I last week, we went to the Am I the Asshole and Am I Overreacting Reddit threads, and we chose about 4 of them, read the stories, and told you our thoughts. Are you? So we'll be back doing that as well. And Love is Blind. Love is Blind comes out October 1st. I've been talking to Liz. I don't know that she's going to do it. She asked when it comes out and then she just kind of floats away. So I will definitely be here with Love is Blind. Haven't figured out how I'm going to drop it, but what I'm thinking is I'm not dropping all the episodes on the day they come out. I think I'll spread them throughout the week. I just know with my friends, when I watch it, they're always trying to catch up. They're like, like the second set comes out and they still haven't finished the first set. People are busy. We have lives. So I do not anticipate dropping them all the same day. All right, channel surfers, you guys have a wonderful week. We got a big, exciting week this week. And I'll see you soon. Bye.
And I might see you in the summer. Bye.
Let's ride.
Tune in.